Hi lads, so what we're going to do today is we're going to draw a bird feeder similar to this one. It's one that I got from Amazon. So what I like to do is just put stuff together because Amazon gives you a lot of measurements. So I just created this little document here. I just snipped out a few pages, but what I did as well is I just put in a link here. So if I want to get information, Amazon is great because it gives you lots of details, particularly on sizes and so on there. So you can see this particular one hadn't a huge amount of sizes, but still at the same time I was able to get enough to draw this. Okay, so there they are. Now, so SolidWorks is where I'm going to start with. Okay, so I'm going to go to a new part. So up here to the sheet of paper, new part. Okay. So I'm in a blank space now, and I said that the first thing we need to do is give that a name. So we're going to go File, Save As, and I'm saving mine into a memory stick. You guys can save this into your documents, and I'm going to call this Birdfeeder Practice 1. Okay, so it probably is a little bit complicated, this one, but we'll give it a go and see how we get on. Okay, so with the bird feeder, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this part here first, this base thing here, and then we'll draw the mesh, and then we'll put the top on here after that. So we're going to use a few new features for this. So we're going to do mainly on the front plane, top plane, right plane, and I'm going to try and keep the origin in the very center of the cylinder. So front plane, open a sketch. I'm in a sketch because I have this icon here. I'm just going to close that off, and I'm going to go line. I'm going to use a command called revolve. So I'm going to draw out a horizontal line, cross, up, cross, and back in here to meet. So it's very crude there. And what you're looking at is looking at this base piece. So you can see it a little bit sticking out. All right. So the measurements I'm going to use for this are as follows. I'm going to go smart dimension, and I'm going to make this one here to be 60. I'm going to make the height here to be 50. I'm going to make this little step here to be 4. And I'm going to make that distance there to be 15. Okay, so it's all gone black there, so I'm happy with that. So I'm going to exit sketch, and I'm going to go to features, and I'm going to use a feature called revolve boss base. So revolve boss base, it needs an axis of revolution, so that's going to be this line here. And you can see there now that it spins it around like that. If it doesn't start doing it, you just basically select your sketches as your contour. Okay, so that's that much done there. Now that has to be hollowed out. So instead of me doing a cut extrude, I'm going to use a command called shell. So shell means like a box, make a box out of it. So I'm going to select the surface because I want to remove that surface, and the size of the wall I want to be left with is going to be 2 millimeters. So I'm going to select that there and press correct. So what that has done is has made this wall here 2 millimeters in size for me. So I now have the base done. So next I'm going to start on is I'm going to start onto the mesh. So the mesh as well, I'm going to draw it on the front plane, and I'm going to go normal too. And what the mesh I'm going to do is I'm going to do the rings first. Okay, I'm going to put on all them rings, and then I'm going to add the vertical pieces to it. So to do that, I'm normal too. I'm going to come up here. I'm in a sketch in the front plane. I'm going to come up here to circle, and I'm going to just draw a little circle here, anywhere at all for now. I'm going to smart that, mention that there for it to be 4 millimeters. Now, this is what I want you to focus in on. So I want you to click on the circumference of the circle, hold down Control on your keyboard, and select this line here, and make the circle and that line tangent. That means touching at one point. Press correct, and I'm also going to select the circumference of the circle again. I'm going to select this edge here, and again I'm going to make them tangent like that. Okay, so that circle now is in the corner. It's touching that line, or tangential to that line, and tangential to that line. So my next feature I'm going to use now is I'm going to go to revolve. All right. Now, in this question, for this here, I need to have an axis of revolution. So I don't have one here at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to X that for a moment. I'm going to select the cylinder, be it inside or outside, and I'm going to go up here to reference geometry. Reference geometry will be under features. I'm going to hit that. Okay, actually, apologies again. I have to exit this sketch for a moment. Now, reference geometry. And what I do is I click on axis. I select that cylinder, and what it gives me is a center axis up to that cylinder. So I'm going to press correct. Now, you may remember there I had a sketch opened for this circle. I need to go back into that. That's for this one here. So I go to sketch 2 and I go edit sketch. And this time I'm actually going to have to do one small thing. I'm going to take this axis here and I'm going to lift it up just above sketch 2. All right, and I'll explain why that is in a minute. So it was done in the wrong order. Right, take 2. Back into sketch 2, edit sketch. Now I'm going to go to features and I'm going to go revolve boss base. Now what I need to do is give an axis revolution for that circle, and this is the axis. And if I hadn't moved that up higher, I wouldn't be able to select it. Okay, so what that does now is put a ring around it like that. All right, now what I'm going to do here, lads, is I'm just going to I'm going to deselect merge result, and I'm going to press correct. Okay, deselect merge result. Now, just let me come out there. So that put a ring all the way around. So when I did that revolve, I'll just open it again. I unselected that merge result. It means just keep it as a separate little ring. If you look up here now, there's 2 bodies. You have basically like 2 little parts. So I just need to. So you can see now if I click that, I have the first part that I drew revolve, and I also have the ring. Now, the next thing is I'm going to put in these rings. I'm going to come up here to a command called linear pattern. So I'm going to select linear pattern, and I want to select the direction 1 as the axis. And the body I want to do now is I come down here, I check that the body, and I go up here now, or actually I might be able to do if I just select the ring. I am. So I just selected the ring, but it has to be in bodies. It'll automatically want to do it in features, but we have this as a body. And I come up here to get them to go to the direction. I reverse it. And the spacing I want is, I want mine to be spaced at 21 millimeters there. And I want them to be 21 of them. Now, that just means that the gaps between them will be 21 millimeters and there'll be 21 rings. So if I press correct here, it's not letting me do that. Sorry, that's where I checked that by accident, so that's what's wrong with that. And now that's done that there for me. So what happened was I just go back into double check that with you again. In error, I take this one here up to reference when it should be spacing an instance. That means how much space do you want between each ring and how many of them do you want from top to bottom. So that's mine there. So now I have all them rings in there like that. Okay, and they're all loaded bodies. So what I might just do for a moment is I might just get that and close it off. All right. Now we're going to put in the vertical lines just next. So I'm going to come along here and I'm going to go to on the front plane again. Actually, no, I'm going to go to the top plane. I'm going to open a sketch. Here's my top plane. I won't actually go top plane there. I'll X that. Okay, what I'm going to actually select is I'm going to select this surface here, because if I select the top plane, it goes on to the bottom. So I'm selecting that surface just in there. Press save for a moment because it looks like the machine could crash. So I'm looking to select. Now, finally, let me open that. I think it's just my machine is running a bit slow. So I select that surface and I create a sketch, and it should have came around normal to me, but it didn't. So there's my ring. So what I want to do now is I want to go to circle, and I'm going to draw a circle out here from the center point, and I'm going to bring it out there. I'm just going to draw it any size for now. Okay, and that can move anywhere as well. So I'll first of all give it a size, smart dimension. I'm going to make that 4. That's what all the rings are so far. I'm going to select that there, hold down control in the origin, select that. I'm going to make them horizontal, press correct. And the next thing I'll do is I'm going to bring it in, and I'm going to try and select the circle and select this ring here and see can I make them tangent, and I can. Okay, so that puts it in position for me inside the ring. So I made it 4mm diameter, held the center, select the center point, hold down control, select the origin, made them horizontal, and then I selected the circumference and I selected that ring, held down control, selected that ring and made them tangent. Now, so features, extrude boss base. I'm just going to move that around and I'm going to bring that up there, and I think I have to come up to about 300. Okay, we're going to have to come up more than that, so we'll try more. So we go 400, a bit more again, 440 we'll try. Now I don't want to go on above the top ring there, so what I might do is go back there to 420. That's still a bit too high. See what 410 looks like. We'll go with that. Okay, so press correct there. Sorry, and I know what I have to do here. I have to come back here to, I'm just going to X that. I'm going to try it again. So I'm going there. Now, I'm going to deselect merge result. Okay, and we're going to go up there to 410. And now I'm going to press correct. Okay, so now I have it there. Actually, it wasn't long enough. I'm going to go back and make that longer. So I'll make that 420. Make it a bit more, make it 425, so it's a nice even mesh. Ooh, that's a bit high. 422, perfect. I'm going to press correct there. Okay, so now I've got one of them. So what I'm going to use now is another command up here. We used linear pattern a minute ago to do these horizontal rings. So I'm going to little arrow here, and I'm going to go to circular pattern. Now circular pattern basically will allow me to put them all the way around. So what I do is the direction is back to that axis that we had at the start. I am going to do 360, and there's going to be 30 of them. So I'm going to press correct, and I'm hoping that might work. No, okay, the reason that didn't work is because I need to do it as a body. So I'm going to select it there, and now it should bring them all the way around, and it does. Okay, so now I've created that mesh with my circular patterns. Just to go back into that circular pattern again. So what you have is axis is the axis in here. It has to be a body, not a feature. So the body can either come in and check it there, or you can come up to the folder here, go to bodies, and it was the last one down there, or you can just pick it up directly from this. There's 30 of them and it's 360 degrees. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Okay, now there's a bit of complicated geometry there, so I'm going to save that just in case the machine crashes. Okay, so we're as far as that now. So my next job I'd like to do now is to try and put on, we might actually put on this little perch here and this bar going across here, then after for the ring, for the holder and the lid. Okay, so back to SolidWorks here. So we're going to go to, this time we're going to go to front plane, sketch, normal 2. Actually, sorry, I'm going to go right plane. So right plane, sketch, all right, and is it normal 2? It is, and I'm going to draw a circle. Just put that circle there in the middle. I'm going to smart dimension that circle to be 10 millimeters. That's good. Not worried about the upper height up and down. That's not a big important deal. I'm going to go features. And instead of me going out there blind, I'm going to go mid-plane because it has to go out to each of them. And I think we'll make that one there about, see what 150 looks like. Might go a little bit bigger. We might go 160. Okay. Doesn't matter if you press correct there and it doesn't do it, just deselect merge result. I'm going to try it with merge result selected first. It didn't let me do it, so I'm going to deselect that, and now I'm going to press correct and it puts it in for me. Rather than leaving them sharp edges, we can come up here and use a command called dome, so D-O-M-E. That has to be in there in black. If it's in one of these commands like features help, it won't do it. So check that arrow and select it as a command. So dome is there. I'm going to select the end there. And I'm going to select the end there. And it has to be the kind of face that you're selecting. So that one there. See, it's added in the circle. Now I don't want them to be that big. So we'll go with maybe 4 millimeters there. See what that looks like. Okay. Press correct. Okay, so see there's 4 millimeters there. Now, same idea there. I have to do a new sketch. So again, I want to go to right plane, sketch, normal to, come up here, pick up a circle, and we're going to let's put it around here. Doesn't matter that much, to be honest. So draw it there, smart dimension, and we'll put that at 10 millimeters as well. Press correct. We're going to go features, extrude boss base, and we leave the same setting as the last time. Actually, we won't. We'll bring it in a small bit because if you look at this one here, it's slightly in a bit as well. So we'll go back and we'll knock off. Maybe we'll try with 140. What does 140 look like? We'll go less. So we'll make that maybe 100. Bit more. We'll go 110. 120. Look, we're not worried too much about the measurements, just the look of it. Right, I'm happy with that. Again, it won't let me do it, so I'll deselect that. And now it will. Okay, so that gets me the purchase done. The next job I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the actual lid, or the cover for it. So if you look at the cover, it's a dome shape there, okay, or you could say an elliptical shape. So the command I'm going to use for that is just something new. So I'm going to go front plane, open a sketch, normal to, and I'm going to go line, very similar to the last one. I'm going to try and pick up the center. So see, there's the origin. It'll come up through it there. So I'm going to bring a line out there. Doesn't matter that far just yet. I'm going to go up here to line again. I have to press escape, bring a line up here. And I'm going to use a command called a spline. So here's spline. So with spline, you just click there and click there. Now what I might just do first is I might put on a measurement. So I might smart dimension that there to be maybe 20. Maybe a bit more than maybe 20, maybe 30. Okay, press correct. Yeah, that looks better. All right. So with splines, we want to make a curve. So you select it there and you can see this little handle. So what I want to do is select that diamond there and come over here and make that horizontal. Press correct. Select that spline again. This time I'm going to check this diamond and I'm going to make that vertical. Okay, and press correct. And what I do now is I basically pull that down like that, and I can bring that in as well. So that's what I created there. Now back to my features, revolve boss base. This is the axis and it brings it around there. Okay, nice. Now that's very flat. I don't want that to be flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that surface. I've already got dome here from the last time. So dome, and I'm going to dome that. At the moment it's coming, yours may be coming like this, where it's coming down the way. I'll exaggerate that a little bit. So let me see. So see that it's coming down the way. So we want it to go the other way and dome up into it. 14 is too big. We might just make that about maybe 10. Okay, you won't see it that much, but if I come up here and I flick that, you can see that it's kind of domed up in the way, up into it. It's not in contact, but that's fine. They're like that in real life as well. Okay, so that's my dome done. Last job now is to put on this ring. All right, so to do that, we are going to go to the front plane, open a sketch, norm spacebar normal 2. So I'm going to go to line. I'm going to start a line just roughly in the middle of that. I'm going to bring it up to around there. I'm going to press correct. I'm going to go circle, and I'm going to try and get it picked up the middle for me there. I'm going to bring that across, and I'm going to come back here again, and I'm going to select line, and I'm going to try and click it. So that one, if you want to make them exactly horizontal, you can select that line, that dot I should say, hold down control, select that dot, make them horizontal, which means they are directly opposite each other. Now what I need to do is I need to change that shape. So I go up here to trim entities, power trim. And what power trim is, you just basically put the cursor here, hold down the left button and move it, and it just cuts away that part for me. Okay, correct. Last one, the same command we used before, which is sweep boss base. So we're going to go there, and we're going to go to circular profile, and we select that. Now what it does is basically takes that shape and puts a circle around it, and I want that to be 4 millimeters to keep the actual, to keep it all the same. So that's 4 millimeters, and I am happy with that. Actually, what I'm going to ask you to do there is deselect merge result, and I'll explain in a moment why that is. Press correct. Okay. Now I want to create a hole through this lid that wire would normally go through. So I'm going to use a new command up here. It's called indent. Now, so if I select indent, what it wants to know is what do we want to cut. Now these have to be separate bodies to do that. So I select that. I want to enter the cutting. I want to cut that, put a hole in it. I want it to be cut. Okay, and I'm going to press correct. Now it doesn't look any different, but if I just take this piece on its own and I isolate it, what it has done, it has put the holes through that piece that the wire is going through it on. So that's basically what that is there. I'm going to bring that there, and I'm going to bring it to isometric mode, and I'm going to press save. And you can play around whatever colors you want. So over here you can add different color to this part, and the mesh. But that's basically our bird feeder done, and that's quite a complicated bird feeder. Look at all the little commands you've used all the way along there. So you could have done it probably simpler, but that's one way. So best of luck with that, and see how you get on with it.